Hello dear friends, welcome to Gate Academy Global. So before starting today's session, I would like to have the input as well as concurrence regarding the quality of video as well as audio. If it is perfect, just write perfect over the live chat and then we are ready to go ahead. Anyways, the student who have been following me, they would be able to recall in last video, we were taking few number of numericals based on the concept of the probability, which were based on the concept of permutation as well as combination. Basically, the three different categories of the problem has been taken in last as well as last day, where the withdrawal has been taken in three different ways. First time, we took all of the two items together. In second time, I took the item one after another with replacement and without replacement. So see, three different categories of the problem is already been taken. In the same sequence, now we have come up with few more number of problems. So around 10 to 12 number of problems I have been designed for you guys, and once we are done with that, we would also take few number of problems which have appeared in GATE examination, and this would be the agenda behind today's video. This would be the agenda behind today's video. Yes. So without getting delayed, I would request to each one of you, read the sentence which has been given along with this problem and try to smash that problem out. What the problem states exactly: find the probability that the two-digit long number is made by 2, 3, 4 without repetition. That means with the help of the 2, 3, 4 as a digit, we are going to make a two-digit long number. I wanted to have the probability that the number would always be greater than 24. May I know what would be its probability? What would be its probability? Let's take, this has been the question number 1.1. This has been the question number 1.1. So I would like to have the input from each one of you. So whenever you are going to reply for any sort of answer, no, you should also refer the question number, so that I would have the clear-cut idea you have been giving the answer for which particular question. You have been giving the answer for which particular question. Find the probability that the two-digit long number is made of 2, 3, 4 without repetition is always greater than 24. Is always greater than 24. Greater than 24. What does it mean by the greater than 24? Even the number can't be 24 also. The number can't be 24 also. What should be its answer? Nobody should get the answer in a form of numeric values. They should get the answer in a form of NCR or NPR. NCR or NPR. Anyways, focus over this concept. First, towards denominator side, we would have the all possible number of ways the two-digit long number can be fabricated out of three different number of digits which has been given. How many two-digit long number can be fabricated? That's simply gonna be 3 and P then 2. Why the permutation has been taken? Because out of three number of items, we are not only going to select the two number of items, even their sequence is also going to make sense. Like for the time being, out of the three different numbers of digits which you had, if you are picking 2 and 3, even the 23 and 32 are gonna be the two different digits. That is why it's not about the selection, it's about selection as well as ordering. It's about selection as well as ordering. So towards denominator side, the total number of ways or the total number of events in your sample space is gonna be 3p2. What does it mean by the 3p2? How many ways? How many ways? How many ways? How many ways? Two-digit long number, two-digit long number can be manufactured or can be created out of three possibilities. Out of three possibilities. That must be clearly known to all of us. Now, but as per our requirement, the number which has to get formed now, that should be greater than 24. The number which is getting formed has been two-digit long and should always be greater than 24. What does that mean of it? That means you can't keep this number as 2, you can't keep this number as 3, you can't keep this number as 4. So obviously 2, 3 as well as 2, 4 has been ruled out, because 23 as well as 24 has been a number which had the worth lesser than 24. So one thing had been quite sure, the 10th place digit cannot be 2 at all, because once you will feed the 10th digit number as a 2, so by default the remaining, the 1st place digit would be either 3 or 4, which would not satisfy your requirement. So one thing had been quite sure, either you had to start with 3, either you had to start with 4. If you start with 3, you will be left out with 2 and 4, and similarly if you start with 4, you would be left out with the two possibilities. They are nothing but 2 and 3. Could you understand what I am saying? Could you understand? So I am just going to rub this out. I am going to just rub this out. So what are the situations you had over here? The first situation could be the 10th place has been fixed to 3. How many possibilities you had over here? Obviously 2 possibilities you had over here. Either you can feed 2 or either you can feed 4 over here. So 2 number of possibilities we had for this situation. Or the 10th place digit could be 4, and once the 10th digit place is being 4, again the 2 possibilities we had been left out with the unit digits place, and that had been 2 and 3. 2 and 3. So towards numerator side, how many total possibilities we have? 4. And similarly towards denominator side, how many total possibilities we had? And that's nothing but the 3p2. That's nothing but the 3p2. Nobody should use the combination. Here the concept of the permutation would come into the picture. Agreed? If you want to smash this problem with the concept of the permutation itself, so here is going to be 3p2. Towards the numerator side, how many number of possible ways it could have been done? Out of 2 number of item, you had to select 1 item. And whenever out of 2 number of items, if we are selecting 1 item, keep in mind, either we use permutation, either we use combination, we get the same answer. Because if you are selecting 1 item, there would not be any meaning of ordering and all. So if you want, you can write 2c1. If you want, you can write 2p1. Choice is yours. Choice is yours. So here is going to be 2p1, and here it goes 2p1. 2p1. In both of the cases, it's simply going to be 4, and then you can get the value of 3p2. And then you can get the value of 3p2. So here goes 3, then p, then 2. 3p2, and that has worth is equals to of 6. The 2 had been the common factor. It would become 2 divided by 3. Would like to ask from each one of you, the basic crux behind this problem is clear to all of us or not? Otherwise, I would repeat this complete concept once again. Otherwise, I would repeat this concept once again. Yes, you can use the combination, but towards denominator you can't, because the combination is just being used for the different ways, the different selections can be made. Their sequence does not make any sense. But here what is happening, my dear friends, out of 3 number of digits, you are selecting 2 number of digits, and even ordering also do make sense. Like out of 3 number of digits, 2, 3 and 4, if you are selected 2 and 3, so 23 and 32, they are going to make the 2 different number at all. That is why not only the ordering and not only the combination, even their sequence would also make sense. Would like to ask from each one of you, is that part clear? As per the Pranali Ingle, she says clear. Nishan says, sir, please repeat. See what I am saying? First of all, you try to have an idea when the problem would be smashed with the help of the concept of permutation, and when the problem would be smashed with the help of the concept of combination. Like the chunk of the problem which we were taking in the last class, they all were based on the concept of combination. But abruptly now we have taken certain number of problem where the concept of the permutation have come into the picture. So I have seen many of the times the student used to have a lot of doubt over this sort of problem, sir, how the combination has been changed to the permutation. My dear friends, here we have been dealing with the number system, and in number system, if number got swapped, no, it would lead a different number. So out of 3 digits what you had, you are not only going to select the 2 digit, once you sequence them together, no, so obviously they are going to make the different numbers. If you want, what are those numbers would be? So what you can do, out of the 3 digits, you can select 2 and 3. 2 and 3 would make the 2 different numbers. They are 23 and 32. Similarly, if you have selected 3 and 4 together, they are going to make the 2 distinct number, and that's nothing but the 34 as well as 43. Similarly, if you have selected 22 and 4 together, they are going to make 24 and 42 as a 2 different numbers. So how many total numbers can be created? It's not equals to 3c2, no. What does that mean by the 3c2? The 3c2 is nothing but the number of ways the 2 items can be selected out of 3 items without keeping order in our mind. But here the order do also make sense, and that is why the p has been taken towards denominator. P is also being taken towards denominators. Yes, clear now? In the same sequence, let me take the next question. Deliberately, I have changed the flavor of this problem a bit. I want a situation where always the number which has been formed by picking the 2 digit out of the 3 digit must be greater than 20. Must be greater than 20. May I know what would be the answer for this? What would be the answer for this? Anyways, towards denominator side, still you have been left out with 3p2 because the 2 digits are getting selected out of 3 digits, and even their ordering is also coming into the picture. So simply it's gonna be 3p2. Simply it's gonna be 3p2. And if we'll talk about its numerator, my dear friends, you frame any sort of number would always be greater than 20. How? The least number which you can frame, you can keep the 10th digit as 2, obviously. If you want to keep the number to be very small, the 10th digit or the 100th digit or the largest digit which you have now, you would try to keep that value least. So obviously I have had the value over 2. And now the possibilities what you have in the unit place is been either 3 or 4, either 3 or 4. So the least number which you can fabricate with the help of 2 digits that had been 2, 3 and 4 had been 23 alone. That means all possible numbers, 23, 32, 34, 43, 24, 42, they all were greater than 20. So may I know what are the favorable conditions you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of the outputs or all of the events in your sample space has been your favorable conditions. So 6 is going to just getting divided with 6 and the result is going to be 1. And whenever the result do come in a form of 1, it's called a certain event. It's called a certain event. What does that mean by the certain event? That means nobody can stop this event to occur. Whenever you will pick the 2 number, by default that number would be greater than 20. There is no doubt has been left out because the probability has been 1. Occurrence has been 100%. Occurrence has been 100%. So many of the times it has been seen deliberately they used to form a problem in such a way that a particular given event becomes a certain event. That means almost all 6 number of events has been taken as the favorable events. Has been taken as the favorable events. Yes. In the same sequence, let me take the third question. Is always a even number. What does that mean of it? For making a 2-digit long number to be an even number, its unit place should always be filled by either 2 or 4. How many ways the total 2-digit long number could have been fabricated out of 3 different digits? So obviously it had been 3p2. The worth of 3p2 is already been calculated as 6. Is already been calculated at 6. So towards right hand side, towards the denominator, definitely I can take this as 6. I can take this as 6. Agreed? May I know what about the numerator? You would be having the 2 different possibilities. First possibility, in this 2-digit long number, the unit place has been stuck to 2. And similarly, the second possibility, in this 2-digit long number, the unit place has been stuck to 4. May I know how many possibilities are still been left out? You can feed 4 over here, either 3 over here. How many possibilities you have been left with? 2. And similarly, how many possibilities you have been left with? 2. Put together, it's simply going to be 2 plus 2. That has been 4. And now if 4 and 6 is going to get divided, they had the common factor 2. So the result would simply be 2 divided by 3. 2 divided by 3. So I don't find any of these students would have any doubt still till this point. Agreed? Yes. So I would request to each of the student who are giving the answer over the live chat, they should also refer the question number. Otherwise, I would not be able to verify the answer for which you have put in, whether the answer has been for which particular question. Yes. So the answer is going to be 2 divided by 3. In the same sequence, is always a odd number. Still, the number of ways the 2-digit long number can be fabricated out of 3 possible digits is simply going to be 3p2. Anyways, till this point everything is okay. Towards numerator side, we would be in search of the total number of ways or the total number of favorable conditions. Yes, okay. Is always a odd number. See what I am saying, Sona Sekhar, why I am not going into the standard procedure? Because so far the number of digits which were there with you had been only 3. If in future, if I expand this problem, like if you have the total 5 number of digits, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and now you had to frame a number which is a 3-digit long, in that case this complete problem becomes too difficult to deal with the standard procedure. That is why deliberately I am bringing permutation in between, because when the problem becomes bulky, when the number of digits becomes huge, when a number used to have a large number of digits, in that case the permutation would be able to help you guys. The permutation would be able to help you guys. Yes? What you are saying 1.3 is not clear? Manju, try to understand, is always an even number. Anyways, towards denominator side, we also always focus over the total number of ways or the number of events in your sample space. So obviously in 3p2 ways you can make the 2-digit long out of the 3 digits which have been given without repetition. And now it has been made ensure the number which you had to fabricate has to be an even number. How it's possible? It's possible if the unit digit has been stuck to 2. How many different ways the 2-digit number could have been framed whose unit place is being 2? Obviously it could have been either 32 or either it could have been a 42. Similarly, either it could have been 24, either it could have been 34. So how many possible ways you had for this sequence and this sequence that has been 2 as well as 2. So put together it becomes 2 plus 2, that's a 4, divided by 6, the result had been 2 divided by 3. 2 divided by 3. Must be understood to all of us. In the same sequence, now the nature of the problem has been changed a bit. Is always an odd number. Earlier, my focus was to keep the number to be an even number, now had been changed to an odd number. How it's possible? As far as the number of digits which are being provided along with your problem, among 4 number of digits, the 2 number of digits has been an even number and 1 digit had been an odd number. So keeping this number to be an odd number, one thing is been quite sure, and that is nothing but the unit place has to be filled with 3 alone. Neither it can be filled with 2 nor it can be filled with 4. So how many possibilities are being left out? This could have been filled with 2, this could have been filled with 4. How many possibilities you had? 2 number of possibilities you had, or the 2 number of events are your favorable events out of 6. So the result which are supposed to be found after doing this calculation has been 1 upon 3. Has been 1 upon 3. Agree? So this sort of problem can be asked in near future, because I have seen many of the questions which are being framed based on probability, they are coming from the segment of combination. Rarely the problem do come from the segment of the permutation. That is why I tried to design few of the questions and has been presented in front of you. In the same sequence, let me go into the next question. It says the number, obviously the 2-digit number which has been framed has to be divisible by 3, Still the total number of ways a 2-digit long number can be fabricated out of 3 digits which are being supplied along with this problem had been still 3p2 which has been 6. And now we had to select the numbers in such, the number must be divisible with 3. May you know what used to be the divisibility rule with 3? The sum of all of the individual numbers should always be divisible with 3 itself. So what are the different numbers we had? We had 2, we had 3 and we had 4. Anyways, the 2 digit has to be picked out. They cannot be 2 and 3, neither in the form of 23 nor in the form of 32, because their addition would be 5 and the 5 is not at all divisible with 6. Similarly, you can't select 3 and 4 together. If you select the 3 and 4 together in a form of 34 or 43, still their addition is being 7 and the 7 is not been cancelling with 6, Agreed? Now here what is happening, the 2 and 4 can be brought together in any of the sequence, either in a form of 24, either in a form of 42. So how many different digits are being your favorable digits? This has been the first form and this has been the second form. So the 2 outcome has been, or the 2 number of events has been your favorable event out of 6 number of event. So the answer is simply going to be 1 upon 3. Soma Sekhar says, sir, please explain the coin sum in GATE 2021 EC. Anyways, Soma, probably you are not following me, or the first time you have started following me. See what have been the agenda so far. I am just focusing over the problems related to the permutation and combination. So once we'll go into the word problem, and once we'll be taking the detailed as well as varieties of the problem within the probability, definitely I am going to take that problem also, because that problem is a comparatively better quality problem. And that problem also requires the concept of tree, where many of the students used to have very handy problem. Yes, so we would take there also. We would take there also. Now here goes the next question. Here goes the next question. Still the feature of the problem remained very same. Find the probability that the 3-digit long number is made by 2, 3, 4 without repetition. Only one change has been made. So far the number which has been made, that was 2-digit long, but now it has been changed to 3-digit long. That means still we have got the number of digits as 2, 3 and 4, and with the help of 2, 3 and 4 we are going to frame a 3-digit long number. So now the few number of questions are fabricated based on the concept of probability. Is always greater than 230, is always greater than 230. Obviously whatever the number you have been picked out now would always be greater than 230. How? At very beginning, first focus how many ways the 3-digit long number can be fabricated by the 3 different digits which have been 2, 3, 4. So obviously out of 3 numbers or the 3 digits, we had to select all 3, and their sequence do also make sense, because once they will swap, they would create the different number. They would create the different number. Agreed? So here it has been 3p3, and as far as the 3p3 is concerned, we have already seen npn stands for n factorial, where the value of n has been 3 over here. So simply it's gonna be 3 factorial. And as far as the numbers which has been, or the digits which has been given along with this problem, the least number which you can fabricate is being least number, what I am saying, the least number what you can fabricate out of this is gonna be 2, 3, 4. May I know how do we create the least number? How do we create the least number? We try to feed the least number from the highest weighted side. What I am saying, I used to feed the least number from the highest weighted side. Highest weighted side had been the thousands place. Yes, thousands place. You had to keep the least number, that has been 2. 2 is already been fitted over here, you cannot use over here. So in 100 place, you would be keeping the least number out of the remaining 2 digits, and obviously the 3 is going to come over here, and now the 4 is going to get fixed over here. The 4 is going to get fixed over here. So many of the times I have seen the student may also have the doubt over the creation of the least number. How the least number is created? You start with the leftmost side, the highest weighted side. You keep the least number has been 2, and then again keep the least number with the remaining digits, that has been 3 and that has been 4. So you can see the least number which can be fabricated with the use of 2, 3 and 4, that itself is 234, that has been greater than 230. So obviously all of the remaining numbers which would be created, would be definitely greater than 230. So may I know how many number of events or how many number of numbers are your favorable conditions? Obviously that's gonna be 3 factorial, and put together it's gonna be a certain event. That means out of the 3 digits 2, 3, 4, if you have selected all of 3 and you have arranged in either of the manner, it is for sure that the number worth would be greater than 230. The number worth would be greater than 230. So that is why the answer had come in our hand is gonna be 3 factorial divided by 3 factorial. Worth has been precisely 1. The worth has been precisely 1. In the same sequence, let me move forward. Is always greater than 300. Is always greater than 300. So one thing is being quite sure. If you wanted to have your number greater than 300, the thousands place digit has to be either 3 or 4, and the remaining place number could be anything. Still the number of ways the 3-digit long number could be fabricated out of 3 digits are being 3p3, which has been simply equals to of 3 factorial, and in digit it can be simply written as 6. And now if we'll focus over the number of favorable event, may I know how many number of favorable events you will be having? As the number has to be greater than 300, there is no doubt the hundreds place number cannot be 2. Either it can be 3, either it can be 4. If the hundreds place, thousands place number has been 3, so how many possibilities you had? Either 2, either the 4 can fill this block. In how many ways they could do that? They could do this by 2p2. Why the permutation has been taken place? Because out of 2 numbers, we are going to select all of the 2 items, but their sequence also do make sense. Their sequence also do make sense. Agreed? Here also, if the 4 is got fixed, you have been left out with the 2 items, and out of 2 items, you are selecting both of them together. and their sequence do also make sense. So here it's going to be 2p2. And anyways, whenever we deal with the npn, the result would always be n factorial. So here it would become 2 factorial, and here it would become 2 factorial. 2 factorial is 2, 2 factorial is 2, and here it becomes 4 divided by of 6. The 2 has been a common factor, so simply the result had been in our hand has been 2 divided by of 3. 2 divided by of 3. So this has been the answer. This has been the answer for question number 2.2. Is always a even number. Still we would be focusing over the denominator. All of 3 number of digits are being selected and a number has been framed which is a 3-digit long. What does that mean of it? That means it has been a case where all of the items is being selected, n is equals to very same as r, and now their sequence do also make sense. So the result had been npn, and npn stands for n factorial. The value of number of items has been 3 factorial. Now if you want, you can raise your speed now. If you want, you can raise your speed now. So simply it's gonna be 3 factorial. Simply it's gonna be 3 factorial. Is always a even number. My dear friends, how the even number can be fabricated? Just by ensuring the units place is being filled with a even number. Like in first case, I have made it fixed that the units place is being filled with 2. So now the two blocks has been left out, and the 2 blocks can be filled by the 2 different numbers, and their sequence would also make sense. Why? Because if it becomes 3 and 4, it becomes 342. If it becomes 4, 3 and 2, it becomes 432. They are 2 different numbers, but still they have been the even numbers. They have been the even numbers. So may I know what would be the result over here? Out of the 2 number of digits, you are going to select the 2 digits, and even their sequence do also make sense. If you want, you can increase the speed over here. It has been a case of npn where the value of n has been 2. So simply the result would be 2 factorial. Not only here, you can have another sequence or, and whenever or do come, definitely mathematically we used to take the addition in between. Mathematically we used to take the addition in between. Now instead fixing the units place as 2, I have fixed the units place as 4. Still the 2 position has been left out, 10th position as well as 10th position as well as 100th position, and here either you can feed 2 3 over here or 3 2 over here. How many possibilities are being left out? Still it has been 2 factorial. 2 factorial remains 2, gets added with another 2 factorial, so it becomes 4. 4 getting divided with 6. End of the day, still you would be having 2 divided by 3 as the answer. 2 divided by 3 as the answer. Yes. Next, in the same sequence, we are going to take the last question of this screen. We wanted to have a situation where number has to be an odd number. Still, how many ways the number can be fabricated? That's equals to of 3p3, that's the 3 factorial, and now it has been made sure the number has to be odd number. That means we would have the 3 blocks. In units place, we had to fix the digit which should come has to be 3. That means the 2 and 4 had got the 2 different places to get filled in, and even their sequence do also make sense because they are not ball, they are not cloths, they are not men, they have been the digit and they have been the different digits. So if we pick 2 then 4 and 4 then 2, they are going to fabricate the 2 different digits. That is why not only their selection, their ordering do also make sense. Do also make sense. Agreed what I am saying? So here it becomes 2 divided by of 6, the result which had come in our hand is simply going to be 1 upon 3. And once you add 2 divided by 3 and 1 divided by 3, the result has to be 1. What it indicates? They have been complement event. Because in 2.3, we were in search of even number. In 2.4, we were in search of odd number. So obviously they are complementing each other. If the number which has been taken out, if it is not even, definitely it would be odd, and if it is not odd, definitely it would be even. Or I can say if this has been the event number 1 and this has been the event number 2, one thing has been quite sure, they are mutually exclusive as well as exhaustive event. You would not be able to appreciate, at least at this moment of point, until and unless I do not go into the detailed study of the probability. But yes, their addition has to be 1. So what I would say, even if you are not calculating, if you are not calculating with the traditional way, you could have subtracted 1 from 2 by 3. You could have got the answer as 1 upon 3. You could have got the answer as 1 upon 3. Till this point, I don't find any of the students would have any sort of. This has been 2.4. Next, So may I know now whether I am audible or not? Probably. There was a problem with the battery and now the battery is got replaced. So now you won't have any problem. Yes. So just would like to ask from each one of you. Just would like to ask from each one of you. Now is that part clear? Is that part clear? No, fifth question, no, is always a odd number. Is always a odd number. Nothing great in it, no. If you wanted to keep the number to be odd number, so in unit place you had to fix the number as 3 only. And now you have been left out with the 2 block. Now the 2 block has to get filled with 2 and 4, and that too with a different order. So simply it has been left out with a 2 factorial divided by of 3 factorial. That has been 2 divided by of 6, and 2 divided by of 6 is nothing but 1 divided by of 3. 1 divided by of 3. Yes. Now focus over the last question. Again the same situation had been taken place. 3 different digits you had, the 2, 3 and 4. Without any repetition you are going to frame a number which is again a 3 digit long. And we wanted to have the situation that the number must be divisible with 3. The number must be divisible with 3. How many total number of events you had? Obviously 3p3, and that has been 6. 6 number of total events you had. That's fine, sir. That's fine. May I know out of the 6 number of events, what are the different events, or the number of events would be your favorable events? See what is happening over here. If you have 3 blocks, 2, 3, 4 are to be filled in the different sequence. Either the 2 can come at very beginning, then 3 can get filled, then the 4 can get filled. But one thing is quite sure, if you are picking all of the 3 digits together, in any of the sequence, the 2, 3 and 4, all of them would get present over this number. And once you add them together, no, you will get to know 2 plus 3, that has been 5, 5 plus of 4, that has been 9. Their addition would always be 9. Either of the sequence they have been present in. So one thing is quite sure, if using the 2, 3 and 4 without dropping any of the digit, if you have made a new 3 digit long number, would always be divisible with 3. Would always be divisible with 3. So the all of the 6 possible numbers are my favorable events, and once we would smash them out, obviously the result would simply be 1. The result would simply be 1. Agreed, no? In the same sequence, let me go down. And now it's the right time to take few number of numericals based on the concept of permutation and combinations, which have been appeared in different gate examination. So the starting 2 questions were picked up from the electrical engineering, and similarly the last question of the day has been picked out from the mechanical engineering. Focus over the first problem and try to get its best most answer. What it says: from a pack of regular playing card, 2 cards are withdrawn at random. Anyways, whenever there is a problem, when a certain item is picked, withdrawn, there are 3 different ways. First together, second one after another without replacement, and third one after another with replacement. So whenever you have those sort of problem, no, keep one thing in your mind, that you have been dealing with this sort of problem, because the answers, the process, the approach is going to be different for all of three approaches, all of three withdrawal. So here what had been given, the from a pack of regular playing card, the two cards are drawn at random. What is the probability that the both cards will be king? So nowhere it has been given, nowhere it has been written that the cards are picked out in succession one after another. That means both of the cards has been drawn simultaneously. May I know what would be its probability? First, we would see how many ways the two card can be selected from a proper deck of card. How many cards we used to have in a proper deck of card? 52. And out of that, the two number of cards are being selected. Now many of the students would have one doubt, sir, how we have switched from permutation to combination. Here the sequence is not going to make any sense. I am not going to make a number, and once we are going to make a number, if we have selected 2, 3, so 23 and 32, they are going to become the two different items once their order do come into the picture. But here it's just a selection, and here order is not going to have any impact. So that is why rather focusing over the permutation, I have been focusing over the combination. So it's going to be 52 C2, and both of the cards has to come from the king. How many number of kings we have? All of the four different suits used to have one king. Either it's been heart, spade, club, anything. So total 4 number of kings you are having. So you are interested to find, or you are interested to withdraw the 2 number of kings out of 4 number of total number of kings. So obviously the result would come in your hand, and that has been 4 C2. 4 C2 is getting divided with 52 C2, and the result is going to be 1 divided by of 2 to 1. The best most answer has been option D. Yes, best most answer has been option D. So till this point, I don't find any of the student would have any sort of doubt now. Agreed? In the same sequence, let me move forward with the next question. This problem has appeared in GATE electrical year of 2003. The problem was framed by IIT Madras. What the problem states: a box contains the 10 screws, 3 of which are defective. 2 screws are withdrawn at random with replacement. That means they have been withdrawn in succession. The probability that none of the 2 screw is defective will be. So better to represent the problem in a form of a box. How many total number of screws you had? 10 number of screws you had. Out of 10 number of screws, how many defective screws you had? 3 number of defective screws you had. So you can say the total good screws were 7 in count, and similarly faulty screws were 3 in count. Yes. Because this is the point where many of the students would do mistake. What they would think, that the number of okay items are being 7 and the number of defective items is being 3. No, the total number of screws has been 10, and out of that the 3 number of screws are being defective. So the remaining 7 number of screws would be well crafted. This is the situation. And once you will focus over this problem, what they want to calculate: 2 screws are drawn at random with replacement. The probability that none of the 2 screws are being defective. So obviously at very beginning, I am going to withdraw 1 screw out of how many number of screws? 10 number of screws. So as far as the total number of event in sample space is being concerned, total number of ways a screw could have been brought it out had been 10 C1. And both of the time, the screw which has to be withdrawn has to be a corrected screw or non-defective screw. So obviously it has to get picked up from 7. And now the screw which has been withdrawn has again been fed in back. How did I know about it? It has been a problem with replacement. That means whatever comes out has to go back. That means still nothing has been changed. Still the total number of screws which we had 10 earlier, now also we would be having 10, and even the number of non-defective items are still 7. Again the same process has to be followed. We are again in search with non-defective item. How many non-defective items you had been? 7 non-defective items you had been, and you are going to select one out of it. So still it has been 10C1. It has been 10C1. So what is been happening over here? We have seen NC1 is always equals to of n itself. So here it becomes 7 divided by of 7. This factor is very identical to this factor, so obviously it would be raised to the power of 2. And whenever the probability has to represented in percentage, 100% gets multiplied. So 7 divided by of 10, that's going to be 0.7. 0.7 is getting squared, it would become 0.49. 0.49 is getting multiplied with 100%. The simply result is going to be 49%. 49%. That's going to be the best most answer which you would be finding for this problem. Yes. So may I know which would be the best most answer? The C is going to be the best most answer. C is going to be the best most answer. In the same sequence, we are going to take the last question of the day. The problem has appeared in GATE Mechanical year of 2010. The problem was framed by IIT Guwahati. Try to figure it out, the actual crux behind this problem, and try to get its answer. A box contains 2 washer, 2 nuts and 4 bolts. You yourself would be able to judge. Whenever they ask the probability based problem in mechanical or production, no, they used to refer the items as nut, washers, bolts, because they have been their pet questions. And similarly, when they frame the problem in electrical and electronics, generally they refer ICs, BJT, MOSFETs. Items are merely items. In mechanical, they may refer those items as nut, bolt machines, and similarly in electrical electronics instrumentation, they may refer those items as operational amplifier, IC 741555, so on and so forth. A box contains 2 washer, 3 nuts and 4 bolts. Items are withdrawn from the box at random, one at a time. That means in succession without replacement. That is why the 3 different varieties of the problem has been brought in front of you guys. At very beginning, we were dealing with all of the items are withdrawn together. In second frame of the problem, we were talking about the items has been selected one after another with replacement, and now we have reached to the third kind of the problem where the items were selected one after another without replacement. No, we can't know, Manju. It has been clearly given 1 at a time. That means only one item has to get selected at a time. The probability of drawing 2 washers first followed by 3 nuts and subsequently 4 bolts. Yes. So how the sequence has to be? The sequence has to be, first withdrawal has to be washer, the second withdrawal has to be washer, the third withdrawal has to be nut, the fourth withdrawal has to be nut, fifth withdrawal has to be nut, sixth has to be bolt, seventh has to be bolt, eighth has to be bolt, and ninth has to be bolt. This sequence has to get followed. And whenever the first withdrawal has been taken place, the washer which has been taken out, it's not going to get put it back. So may I know how the situation would be? So the situation is going to be, how many total number of items you had if you'll include washers, nuts as well as bolts together? It has been 4 plus 3 plus of 2. That has been 9. At very beginning, you are going to select one item out of 9 items. So obviously it would be 9 only. And that item has to get selected from the family of washer. How many number of washers you had? 2. So it's going to be 2C1. Simply it would be 2 into. Now one washer has been brought out and it has been thrown out. That means it's not a case of with replacement. So here the result would be, now the 9 would get reduced to 8, and now the number of washers has been reduced from 2 to 1. So out of 1, the 1 washer has to be taken out. So simply it's been left out with 1. Similarly, what's happening over here? It would just be decreasing 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Yes. Here, how many number of nuts you will be having? 3 number of nuts you are going to have, and you are going to select one nut out of it. How many ways it could have been done? 3. Here it has been reduced to 2. Here it has been reduced to 1. Here it has been 4 reduced to 2, reduced to 2, reduced to 1. So once you will multiply them together, the result which we have been finding out of it is being 1 divided by of 1260, 1260, 1260, 1260. So Nissan, probably somewhere mistake you are doing, so you can cross correct. Once you'll multiply them together, do one thing, no, you need not to cross cancel any of the data. Do one thing, feed all of the data in your calculator, because that process would be easier rather calculating or rather smashing few of the common data. No, you just put this as a numerator divided by just this as a denominator, and you are going to get the answer as 1 divided by 1260. 1 divided by 1260. Agreed? So from tomorrow onwards, we are going to take few of the standard word problems. Obviously, they would not be based on the concept of the permutation and combination, and we would build the concept over the probability mode. We would build the concept over the probability mode. So any type of feedback you guys are having, you can put it over the live chat. Otherwise, we would end our session here itself, because the agenda behind today's video, yes, was to take all of the questions which I have designed. Among them, 10 to 11 number of questions were the design questions, and the 3 questions were the questions which has appeared in gate examination, has been appeared into the gate examination. Yes, this was a calculation mistake. That has been a calculation mistake. That's fine, listen. But what I am saying, if you don't know certain concept, that's okay. But if you know certain concept and if you are doing the mistake because of your calculation, that's the worst thing you can do in your gate examination. So the calculation mistakes should be avoided at any cost, at any cost. Manju, I would just show you, if you'll see the history, the varieties of the questions have come based on the concept of the permutation and combination. Not much, but almost 20 to 25 number of problems have come. If I'll show no, literally you are going to tear each and individual problem out, because the toughness level involved with each and individual problems has been in the same level, That is why I tried to design the problem which had the almost same level as they used to be in gate, Yes. Yes, you can. You can. So the last question could have also be written as, towards denominator you could have written NP and 9P9. Yes. 9P9. You could have. VAA Soma Sekhar, you can. You would be getting the same answer only. Okay then. Bye-bye. Take care. Good night. We would meet tomorrow precisely at same time. And probably the agenda would be a bit different. Still we would be hopping around the probability. But the sub part of the probabilities which we have been dealing would change. We would be dealing with few more word problems in tomorrow's class. Till then, bye-bye. Take care. Good night.